Every member in the server liked Linksmus a lot, but the owner, who lived just above the server, did not. The owner hated Linksmus the whole Linksmus season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his rage was 2 sizes too tall. Whatever the reason, his heart or his head, he stood there on Christmas, Linksmus Eve, hating the event, staring down from his cave with a sour, starry frown at the unlighted windows below in the server town. For he knew every member down in the server beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath, and they're hanging their stockings. He snarled with a sneer, tomorrow is Linksmus, it's practically here. Then he growled with his own reserved fingers, nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Linksmus from coming. For tomorrow he knew all the server girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, noise, noise. That's one thing he hated. Then noise. Then the members, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on server pudding and have server roast beast, which was something the owner couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every server member in the server, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They stand hand in hand, and the members would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing. Then the more the server owner thought of this server Linksmus sing, the more the server owner thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Linksmus from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The owner got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The old server owner laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Linksmus claws hat and a coat. And he chuckled and cooked, what a great trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like undead Saint Nick. All I need is some skeletal reindeer. The owner looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? Yes, he was a Grinch. He simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dragon Paladrake and took some wood thread, and she tied a big yarn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Paladrake. Then the Grinch, yes, he's a Grinch, said, get up, and the sleigh started down towards the homes where the server members lay snooze in their towns. All the windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the members were dreaming, she dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old owner claws hissed. And he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could this Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little member stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, wasn't the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with his smile most unpleasant around the whole room. Then he took every present, pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the owner very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the members' feast. He took the members' server pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, the owner even took their last can of server hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the owner, I will stuff up the tree. When he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around fast and he saw a small member, little Nana, who's not more than 17 if I remember. The owner had been caught by this tiny member daughter who'd got out of bed for a cold cup of water. She stared at the owner and said, "Little Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know, that old owner was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie and he thought it up quick. "Why, sweet little Reno," the fake Kalinkle Claus lied. "There's a light on this tree that will tonight on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled this child. Then he patted her head, then got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. Then when Nana, the member, went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. Under walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was the crumb that was even too small for a ferret nose. Then he did the same thing to the other members' houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other ferret members' ferret houses. It was 1:15 dawn, all the members still abed, all the members still snooze when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the choppings, 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet. He rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Coo-coo to the members, he was grinchiously humming again. There's finding out now that no Christmas is coming. That she's waking up, I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will open a minute or two. Then the members down in the server will all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, according to this grinchy owner, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the owner put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at the server. The owner popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every member down in the server, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. Then the grinchy owner, with his grinchy owning feet, ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the owner thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe laceness, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe laceness perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in the server they say that the owner's small heart and his rage went down and up that day. Then the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, and his rage wasn't reaching the light, he whizzed with his load to the bright morning light, and he brought out the toys and the food for the feast, and he himself, the owner, carved the server's roast feast.